Hello and good day, everybody, and welcome to this live LinkedIn session. I'm Adish Apte, and I'm the product owner for Canvas Insights, the subject matter for this session. Canvas Insights brings the power of AI, machine learning, natural language processing to software development. And I also have with me Deva. Deva, would you like to introduce yourself?
Sure, thanks, Adish. Hello, everyone. This is Deva from New Ways of Working Division from LTI. Hope everyone is safe and healthy. Happy to connect with you all to discuss our platform Canvas Insights and uh, solve some of our clients' problem statements in terms of how we are bringing in more insights into the software engineering lifecycle and bringing in more productivity and new ways of working in the projects that we are executing.
Absolutely. And I think the COVID situation, which is one of its kind that we are facing, and earlier our colleagues Brijesh and Archana spoke around the designing the future for software engineers. And this is a broader theme around working from home. And we build this Canvas platform that allows improved productivity, quick ramping up of teams, getting the CI/CD pipeline, the resiliency of applications, improving the resiliency and performance of applications, customer experience. But today we are discussing about Canvas Insights, and as the name suggests, it brings insights to the software development community, various personas. And more, even in our daily lives, AI has become very prevalent. And because of the computing, the data that is there, and the sophistication of the NLP or machine learning algorithms, the neural networks, deep learning, there is a huge potential we are seeing in applying this to software development lifecycle. Exactly. And it started as point solutions, but over the last 2 years, and Deva, you've been involved, right from the beginning over the last 2 years, and when we saw these specific point solutions, we saw the broader potential of looking at all the data across the software development lifecycle, beginning with requirements, test cases, the defect log, the release notes, the application log, and applying these machine learning NLP algorithms, building that end-to-end correlation, and delivering impact analysis and the capability to do predictive insights to the software community. You've been talking a lot to clients in the marketplace. What else are you seeing? People are finding benefits from Canvas Insights.
Yeah. So in general, and particularly in the current remote working in specific, which is going to be the new normal now, the client's expectations around, if you can say, like there are three key areas, right? One is how do we increase the velocity, right? It's more focused around the productivity of these different individuals working in the remote locations all over the global locations. So everybody has been exploited a lot of this acceleration levers, right? If we may call like this brute force automation, the DevOps adoptions. So what's next, right? So how do I focus on improving my productivity? Right? In the current situation, especially the knowledge management and retention, because of these SMEs being spread globally now, how do I retain a common knowledge management across this SDLC? So that there is a continuous feedback. This adapt and learn becomes a real-time continuous feedback for me, right? So that's where when we take Canvas Insights to our clients, it fits right into that with our AI interventions, right? So as you said, the knowledge fabric that we are creating based on collating and correlation different SDLC assets, and bringing in this impact analysis specifically around this change impact, like for every change that we do in your code or in your user stories, how do I identify what needs to be addressed from different functions of your SDLC, be it developers, your architects, testing, and your support functions, right? And especially the change behaviors within your code, right? How is your code check-in, check-out happens? What part of your code is being touched? All these things are giving, as you said, the predictive insights based on your historical data and the current change patterns. And that's where we see there are so many personas getting involved, right? and you and I, like, we worked around like what 33 different use cases using this AI interventions across this SDLC process.
Correct.
And I know we have now close to achieving all of these 33 use cases in terms of bringing it to life in our platforms, right?
Correct. You're right, and I think from finally the proof of the pudding, as they say, is in eating, and this platform is to be finally consumed by the insights, and the impact analysis needs to be consumed by the various personas effectively, so that they are more productive, effective in the software delivery. And the way we've designed this platform is predominantly looking at the 5 main personas in any software development, agile or DevOps, or even waterfall, looking at the product owner, the architect, the scrum master, or the project manager, the developers and testers. And as you rightly said, this whole change impact due to change on code as well as test cases, the ability to bring that, extract the information, build the relationships by looking at the requirements document, test cases, the scenarios. The product owners, particularly benefit, immensely, because any change in software, traditionally they would go and reach out to their application leads, try to understand what the change is, or how's the change impacting them. And in any large complex kind of IT ecosystem where change kind of ripples through various applications, and inevitably some conditions, some year-end situation kind of gets left behind, and during that period suddenly this becomes a major problem. So this ability to understand what are the impacted application functions, sub-functions, which business units and portfolios are impacted, what are the impacted application suites, and across cross product and cross application suite impact, all this can be taken care with the help of Canvas Insights. So that's looking from a product owner perspective. If you look at from a developer perspective, what code modules are getting impacted, what happened when we touched the code last time, are there any shared components that are getting impacted? If so, and also from a perspective that if there's a defect allocated, open defect allocated to a developer, there's already a solved knowledge base of defects that have been previous defects that have been solved. Can I leverage those and you see matching defects or similar defects that all of the problem I'm trying to solve, and solve my defect faster? So these are some of the powerful use cases that Canvas Insights has to offer to product owner and the developer. Deva, I'll hand it over to you, because you also, you from an architect, you're a solution architect. From a solution architect perspective, and you're a past, test architect angle, how do you see those personas benefiting from Canvas Insights?
Yeah, so these two, I would say, the key personas when it comes to the Canvas Insights as well, and I'm close to my working portfolio as well, right? When it comes to this architects, or you can say like tech leads, building a resilient application is going to be very key, right? Especially the way how Insights gets your logs from different places, do the analysis onto it to identify what are your tech hotspots within your entire ecosystem, right? That's one from how we build it. And when we get into how do we get these things assigned, and the way how it is being built, measuring individual developers' productivity, right? So you touched upon the shared code repository from a developer standpoint, but if I am a tech lead, identifying what is your check-in, check-out patterns, how is your defect injection patterns have been going on, what part of the code is being touched by which developer, and that's helped me in terms of how I am building my application overall, right? So one way is more of how we are architecting to be more resilient, how we are building it to be more quality driven, and more importantly, in terms of your technical debt, right? We wanted to closely measure in terms of how the technical debt has been reducing or increasing, and who is injecting those technical debt, how it has been injected. So the entire insights around that for an architect and a tech lead, it's what the value that Insights is bringing us. Right? So on this is architects in the beginning of your life cycle, right? Towards the end of your life cycle comes your quality engineers. The focus around how we get the better code coverage, right? Especially in terms of multiple agile teams touching the code, different branches of your code. How do I get everything tested in a real time, right? And hence covering the part of code that is being touched, not having a bloat of test cases, right? So that's where the impact-based testing becomes very helpful in terms of how we are optimizing the testing, right? And also the hotspots that we are identifying based on the AI algorithms that we are putting in, both from a functional and non-functional, right? So it's not just to identify what is your application hotspot from a functionality standpoint, but your performance, like where I am injecting some of your performance hotspots, right? How is your security is being tested, right? And more from your data aspects, like where we have these kind of a sensitive data elements being concentrated in some places, how we can get those insights to help in more of the data obfuscation and your overall data provisioning as well.
Absolutely. Means the as you were enumerating all the use cases, it's the opportunities are immense, because as more and more data we gather, it just there are many more specific point problems that we can solve for the various personas. In fact, recently we are looking at introducing now, taking all the inputs from our resiliency tool. In terms of performance, and then if you're running a test automation suite, and it's taking unduly long time, you can actually pin down to the last application code or a Java file or a class file, and try to understand where the delays are getting incorporated. That kind of analysis also, that kind of visibility is also possible now. But overall, if you look at it, from a persona perspective, what we are seeing is that from a test manager perspective, it is better risk-based testing because of the availability of insights into the application hotspots. It is also better defect governance through the reassignments of defects, and ability to just get more efficient in how you resolve your defects across the life cycle. From a tester perspective, can I solve my defects faster? So anywhere between 15 to 25% improvement we've seen in turnaround times of the defects. From a test optimization perspective, reducing the regression bloat, we've seen anywhere between 30 to 60%, depending on the applications that are there, and anywhere between 30 to 60% reduction in the regression bloat. And from a product owner perspective, anywhere between 20 to 40% improvement in the turnaround time of reducing the product charter, or reducing the impact analysis. So these are some of the more quantifiable benefits that we've delivered. We've seen the clients benefiting from implementing Canvas Insights, and that takes me to the next area, which is how do you go about making it real? At the end of the day, what does it take to implement? What is the duration? So there are two aspects of it. One is the more broader aspect about how this is how this is an evolving landscape. And then there is a practical. So let me take the practical aspect of it, and then you can give a broader view, bird's eye view of how this is shaping up.
Yeah,
so
sure.
Just to let the audience know, typically, we start with a fitment analysis, where we, go understand what applications are there, what kind of, we look at it from a technology stack, we look at what data is available, what kind of tools, currently being used within, your, for test management, for version management, for defect management, the various tools that you're currently using. We are having a growing number of tools that we are integrating. Most of the common ones like Azure DevOps, Jira, Jenkins, and the Seleniums of the world, the TFS, ALM tools. So most of them we have now integrated with Canvas Insights. But to begin with, we start, so that we can deliver on a use case, and a business case. We identify the right applications to begin with. We look at, the technology. We understand the defect, what kind of defect data is there. We understand what kind of documentation you have. And once we have done that, then we get into, either it could be a big bang, but many times we start with a proof concept where we'll set up, we'll get the access to the various tools. We'll set up the entire application. We'll then install our softwares, and we'll require a virtual machine, a VM from you, so that we can install all this. This typically takes anywhere between 3 to 4 weeks. You have to get the info security clearance. You've got to get the right people to give the connectivity to the various tools. Once you've done that, then we are in a place where we can we can 3 weeks again to get the use case around some of our key feature sets around the defect advisory or the test optimization or the change impact done.
Yep. So while this takes more of an operational steps in terms of how we are selecting the right candidates to start with, there is a bigger aspects in terms of how we are going to bring in the mindset of this AI into this entire implementation. And then the ways of working in terms of adopting this AI right from the get-go. Like, we cannot just say I've implemented insights and I want to start seeing the results tomorrow, right? So there is a process in terms of knowing what AI is going to do for you in terms of all the data that we are going to correlate, get these insights built in. Some features that we are talking about from definitely from a persona of an architect or from a tester, there will be an immediate value that we can start giving in. And some of this change impact analysis, your hotspots, all those things gets more and more data gets in. Like 2-3 iterations, you're going to have like more meaningful insights coming out, right? The point here is the way how we use our data to bring in more insights to our business operations. It's the time for us to make your SDLC assets as a true assets for our software engineering lifecycle, using insights as a platform. In a way that we are monetizing the data that we are generating on ourselves during your SDLC process. Take that input, create the insights, and then start looking at optimization, delivering quality at your speed, reducing technical debt, building a resilient application, right? So the benefits are going to be multifold as and when we experience this AI more and more into our software engineering lifecycle. And then that's the power that Canvas Insights is building. That's how I see it.
I think you touched on a very, I wouldn't say delicate, but on the right, on the right point is on the mindset. And it's, I just wanted to take an example. We recently, we work with a lot of clients and, trying to get, as one quick use case around creating application hotspots. And we take all the defect data log, and and the very nature of NLP or machine learning or ML is that it needs a lot of data to crunch and to find meaning, which can then be fed back to the various personas. And we were dealing, normally when we deal with internal currently when we're doing with clients, we get a very small data set of defects. But one particular client, this is one of the largest clients on the Indian government side, and there, these people are dealing with data on a big way. And when we reach out, to the guys, they are predominantly from data background. And the amount of data they proactively gave, because they realized that they know it, they know about this whole game of AI, machine learning. They gave a huge amount of data to us to start building our, start training our models. So this mindset is an extremely important one. I agree with you. Yeah,
absolutely.
Sometimes, Deva, I just wanted to prompt a question. We are well aware we reach, when during, our interactions with clients, we do get that, is this a tool which will kind of replace, the existing tools, the ecosystem around it, and, from that perspective, if you could just throw some light to, to the
Sure,
audience.
sure. So, like we see Canvas Insights as not a tool or a platform. Like I would consider this as one other resource within your pod or your Scrum teams, right? Where we are all augmenting to your existing ecosystem, right? Like you have Jira, ALM, and your overall repositories that you have from your source perspective, whether it could be a Bit or your GitHub. This is going to sit on top of all your existing accelerators, tools, platforms, and to give start the insights that we can bring in, and the implementations, and wherever we go and get these things implemented or architected. The way how we consider this as, okay, this is one other person coming along with me in every stage of my life cycle, right? Be it when I am getting into my PI planning, right? Instead of getting more of an experience-driven estimates, I'm giving more of an insights-driven estimates, right? And when I get into the architecting, it's more of an insights-driven, right? And when I'm developing and building, it's all insights-driven. So we want the entire life cycle of how the engineering is being built within your SDLC to be insights-driven. And that's how we see that it's not replacing any of your existing platforms. It's an augmentation to your existing platforms.
Absolutely. And so essentially, it's a tool that, it's your a smart colleague who's kind of whispering into your ears, some of the better ideas, smarter way of doing things. Look at the data, underlying data that is there, and make meaning out of it, and help you do your work smarter and faster. Hopefully, take drudgery out of some of the work you have to do. If you get smarter insights, you can solve the problems in a much clever way. So that's where we are with insights. I just looking at from a time perspective, we seem to be on our 20 minutes session. Any closing comments from you, Deva?
No, I think it's more and more we experience this platform and AI. It's where we are going to get the benefit of it and see the value of insights. So I would say let's experience AI, right? And that's via Canvas Insights.
That's it. So fantastic. So thank you everyone for joining. It was a great pleasure interacting with you, everyone on this session. I can see quite a few questions coming in. Maybe we're running out of time. Maybe we'll take time to respond to you separately. You can always reach out to us, and more than happy to kind of respond to your queries. So that was a great time, Deva, interacting with you too, and
with the
team.
Thanks, Satish. And thanks everybody.
Yeah, and for all those who joined. And have a great time and a great day ahead. Thank you so much.
Thank you.
Thank you. Bye-bye.
Bye-bye.